In the past 3 weeks, we've had 2 women have miscarriages where the fetus has stayed inside for 4 weeks. One of them I've been friends with my whole life is in a box. She's in a box because she's not here. 32 miscarriages have been counted in total, but these 2 were way too much alike to go unnoticed. How many? When is it no longer acceptable? How many young women out there that have no idea because their federal government has told them everything's all right? How many women out there, young women, young mothers, young wives, are going to allow themselves to grow their family because that's what the American dream is, and are going to lose their life because of toxemia and going septic? Because OBGYNs apparently aren't watching for this. What are people thinking? They don't want to get involved. You don't want to get involved. If you live on the Gulf Coast, you're involved whether you want to be or not. I have news for you, my friend. You are involved. My husband now again has brown stuff leaking out of his ears. Vertigo where he's dizzy all the time, but he still gets up and goes back to work because he knows if he don't, and he doesn't catch seafood that we're not positive that is safe, because the results are either inconclusive or the levels have been raised 3 times of what they currently are on the eastern or western seaboard. So he has to go out here and still work every day. If not, we'll get taxed on potential income and they can take everything I've got. Before IFQ's, individual fishing quotas, my husband caught 30 to 40,000 pounds of red snapper per year. Once IFQs came into effect, we were only awarded 3,041 pounds. How do you like that? 3,041 pounds from up to 100,000. 97% cut. Now, same thing happened with grouper. Now they are figuring with sound science, the king mackerel. After that, after they slash that one, next comes remaining of the reef fish. The list goes on in both federal law and state law. I could stand here and go down a long list of regulations, or as we know it, putting the small fish out of the pond. We have been scoped out. Wake up, our fisheries are and have been under attack. Under attack by the very same agency that claims as follows: to protect all marine species without unnecessarily impeding economic or recreational opportunities. Their vision, get this, as a steward, NOAA Fisheries has an obligation to conserve, protect, and manage living marine resources in a way that ensures their continuation and functioning components of the marine ecosystems, afford economic opportunities, and enhance the quality of life for the American public. Right. This is the same agency who 3 weeks after the Deepwater Horizon well was capped said 75% of the oil is gone. Their goal is to optimize the benefits of living marine resources to a nation through sound science and management. The goal is balancing of multiple public needs and interest in the sustainable benefits as use of living marine sources without compromising the long-term biological integrity. How you like that? Of coastal and marine ecosystems. Sound science, management, integrity, sustainable, nearshore, trade-off. 75% of the oil is gone. Save seafood. Oh, and the shrimpers did it. This agency exists to get rid of us. Why? What? How? The council that does the regulating is by law supposed to be a balanced council. It has not been for over a decade. There has been lawsuits filed over this very issue and some still pending. This is the how. Now why? Corporate interest. IFQs have been purchased by large corporate entrepreneurs. Reason 2. In 2009, aquaculture was passed to be carried out in the Gulf of Mexico. The patent for the containment cage and equipment was obtained several years before this came about. Yes, fish farming. Let's address this. I want you to follow me close on this next one. It takes 6 pounds of meal per 1 growth of fish in a fish farm. It takes 15 pounds of fish to create 6 pounds of fish meal. Therefore, where does the food come from? Wild-caught fish targeted by larger corporate companies. So wild catch 15,000 pounds of fish to grow 1,000 pounds for you to consume. Do the math. Numbers don't lie. So what happens to our wild catch? Wipe it out. Wipe out the wild catch for fish farming. Where will the meal come from then? When wild catch can't meet demand, will have to be another food source. Sound science and management, 75% of the oil is gone. As I speak, our longliners are under attack. A brutal attack by NOAA Fisheries and some others. With the PR campaign that makes the public think longliners are wiping out species in the Gulf. This is a lie. I have had enough of someone shifting the blame to my fellow commercial fishermen. Put the blame where it belongs. Sound science? Sound science. That's how they get what they get done to us, is through their sound science. Any study can be set up to fail. I want you to understand the entire situation here. One more to add to the list. The very long list. Our fishermen need to come together as one. We must, or we will be a story someone tells our grandchildren or great-grandchildren. BP, next on the list. BP is supposed to be beyond petroleum. Well, you know, they say they're going to make it right, too. We know how that one worked out for us, right? I'm not going to stand here and attack BP all day because I just think that everyone gets it, right? I want to discuss something called potential income. I found out last year that BP not only intended and was allowed by federal law to deduct vessel of opportunity money from the claim money. I threw a fit. Well, Feinberg came back 6 weeks after he got the job and said, we're not going to deduct that money, we're going to leave it alone. However, we're going to create a scale from the fishermen who went back to work for catch and sale, and then we're going to deduct potential income, GCCF is, from fishermen's claims. So the fishermen who were terrified of what was in the water to go back to work are now going to have what's referred to in federal law as potential income deducted from their claim. That's not the best part. Not only is the potential income that they didn't get going to be deducted, so they're not going to get it, they're going to be taxed on it. Yes, federal and state income taxes on potential income in the United States of America. So, as some fishermen may have been too sick to go back to work, some fishermen, who knows what the reason was that some of them did not go back to work. I know the reason, you know the reason, because they were scared to. But everything's fine, 75% of the oil is gone, so that's potential income, and it'll be deducted. Everyone that worked wanted to work. That's their new little commercial that they're smearing all over the United States right now. I am here to tell you that I brought notebooks of fishermen's names, addresses, telephone numbers, size of their boat, horsepower of their motors, every single thing down to the LA numbers on the side of the boat, to BP's Vessel of Opportunity coordinator, and put it in his hands. Then I went and got copies of all of their tax papers that said fishing as a source of income, and brought that to back up that they were local commercial fishermen and they wanted to work, but they didn't get hired. I did manage to get 52 men hired out of notebooks with 5 to 7 names per page. But those who wanted to work, they worked. Another lie. We definitely need, as Cherie said earlier, an all-out assault on BP's PR campaign, but not only on BP's PR campaign, this is an intentional, collaborated effort to bury this, and us along with it. EPA, the Gulf Coast Ecosystem Restoration Task Force is begging us to trust them. Are you serious? Are you really, really serious? These people sat back and allowed planes to spray and poison my children. To spray and poison every person I've ever known, loved, or respected in my entire lifetime, along with 41 million other Americans. Trust? Yeah, about as far as I could throw one of them. Health issues. This is something that I don't need notes for. Right now, currently, I want to talk about a 6-year-old child in my neighborhood. Her mother happens to be one of my longest and dearest friends. We were pregnant together. We've celebrated every holiday, birthday together, everything. She's one of my best friends. Her 6-year-old child was brought to Biloxi, Mississippi to go swimming back in June. And within 4 days was broken out in blisters on her ankles, feet, between her toes. From about here on her arm to here on her arm was all blisters. Blisters under her nose, around her mouth. This child today still has these blisters. That was in June of 2010. She is on breathing treatments all day, every day. The school says, you can't wear those Crocs that your doctor sent us a note for because they're not on the list. To a 6-year-old, she's so scared to go to school because they don't know how to properly administer her medication. Instead of the Mickey Mouse mask when they give her the pump, she's not getting the medication because they're not putting the mask on they've got a high school education person giving out medication to these kids. I spoke with New York Children's Health Fund on 2 days ago. Mr. Frank Wesley, the national director, and we were fortunate enough in Plaquemines Parish to receive a medical mobile unit for our pediatrics. He said that he went last week and visited with the schools in Plaquemines Parish. And when they opened the medical closets at the schools, it's full of nebulizers. Do you understand what that means? We have 300 kids at our school. And there's a medical closet full of nebulizers. Where's the red flag? Where's the alarm? This is unacceptable. These kids are sick. We've begged them to help us. We've begged them to help us do anything, come down, bring medical mobile units, whatever. But they won't even admit that there's a problem. Now, this child is just one of many that those nebulizers belong to. And she happens to be somebody I personally adore. She's like one of my own. I see her, she's red under her eyes. She can't breathe. She puts her head down on the desk all day. They're this close to pulling her out of school. This is unacceptable. Welcome to America. The American dream has become an illusion. The best one ever pulled off. We got frickin' Houdini in the White House. It's time for change. This country's went too far whenever people sit back and allow for their neighbors and loved ones to be poisoned, all for the sake of the mighty dollar. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good afternoon and keep chugging at it.
Thank you.
Hey, Kindra, stay up here a minute. I want to make sure that you get this. This is for Coastal Heritage Society of Louisiana. This is also a Clean Air and Water Award because Coastal Heritage Society has done a great job. They collected toys. They collected food. They're just excellent people, all volunteers. No one is paid. And I just want to make sure that they get recognized too.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you very much.